Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about related to Indian economy. It is about the volatile food prices. Let us start the session with the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial is about the recent resurgence. A resurgence has been used in the editorial. It means a rebirth, one of the meanings. I will give the meaning later. This is one of the meanings, do remember. The recent resurgence in headline retail inflation in India, particularly focusing on impact of volatile food prices. Volatile means not stable. The editorial highlights the risks posed by rising inflation, especially in the context of food prices, and discusses the specific components contributing to this increase. In a nutshell, it is about the inflation, rising inflation, especially in the context of food prices, and the reasons behind. Usually, when we talk about a particular problem, inflation is indeed a problem. And when we talk about, or an editorial talks about inflation or any problem, it touches three dimensions. One, what is the problem? What are the reasons behind? And the third one, what are the remedies? What are the suggestions? What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is informative and somewhat critical. It provides a lot of information. To be very frank with you, today's editorial, it is based more on statistical data. You see every sentence, almost every sentence, the percentage increase in terms of percentage and not difficult to comprehend. But today's editorial has a lot of words, important words. That way it is very important. And also I always tell students, any editorial related to economy, Indian economy is very important. Now let us go to the editorial and see. See, usually when I bring this, the trigger, the stimulus, the main idea, then how it starts. Usually we get about one or two words or maximum three. But here today you can see about six words you have to learn from this slide. Acceleration foretold on volatile food prices. First, I'm sure you all know the meaning of the word accelerate. Accelerate is a verb, acceleration noun. So accelerate means what? To speed up. For that, you can also think of the word expedite. That is also an important word. And acceleration of what? Acceleration foretold. Actually, here it is in the past. Foretell is a verb. Foretell means predict the future or a future event. Foretell something means predict something. And about what? On volatile food prices. Volatile, an important word, it goes with, it's a science term. At the same time, it goes with everyday English. Volatile, rapid, one meaning liable to change rapidly and unpredictably, especially for the worse. It has a negative connotation. And science term a different meaning, evaporate. But here, volatile change suddenly, unpredictably, rapidly, and going from bad to worse. That way, it has a negative connotation. Ah, very good. Naidu, you can also use anticipate, predict, foretell, all these words. If inflation is not tamed, now what is the main idea of this editorial? If inflation is not tamed, there is a risk to consumption and growth. We have a problem. What is the problem here? Inflation. Inflation is not tamed. Tame means to control, and usually it goes with wild animals. You control a wild animal or a particular animal, then we use the word tame the animal. And we can also think of the word domesticated. Domesticate is nothing but control, tame. In this context, taming what? Inflation. If inflation is not tamed, there is a risk. What will happen if inflation is not tamed or controlled? There is a risk to consumption and growth. There are two things. There is a risk, one consumption point of view, the other growth point of view. How does it start? From now on, you see a lot of sentences, statistical data, percentages, not that difficult to comprehend, but try to focus on the vocabulary part. November's resurgence. Resurgence is an important word. Resurgence, one of the meanings, a revival, a rebirth, come back to life after for some time no activity. Imagine something for some time dormant and no activity, stagnant. All of a sudden it revives. Revival is there. Then we use the word resurgence. But usually I give the meaning resurgence in a way rebirth, an increase or revival after a period of little activity or dormancy, no activity at all, popularity or occurrence. Then suddenly it becomes popular, rebirth. November's resurgence in headline retail inflation. This is all about headline retail inflation, basically inflation related to food prices. While clearly not unexpected, something expected, after the RBI just last week predicted a likely uptick. RBI last week predicted a likely uptick when it comes to inflation. So there's one more word here, uptick. Uptick means what? Slight or small increase, upward trend, increase or upward trend, slightly subtle. Then we use the word uptick. So RBI last week predicted a likely uptick. So not unexpected. It is something expected based on that prediction of the RBI is a stark reminder. Stark, we have got many a time. See, many of these words we have got many a time, but in my opinion, not easy to remember. You got to spend a lot of time, revise, make your own examples. Only then you will be able to remember. Yes, Tripura Sundari, uptake, surge, hike. Very good. I appreciate. You're always ready with the words. That's really wonderful. Stark means part of speech adjective, severe or bare in appearance or outline. Stark, usually I tell the meaning, distinct. You can easily make out something. Then stark difference. One of the combinations, difference, stark difference. Here, stark reminder. So it starts with RBI's prediction. Based on that, this inflation related to food prices, not something unexpected. It is, in a way, a reminder, stark reminder that goes with the risks associated with volatile food prices. They pose a risk. It's all about that. Now it is all about the statistical data. While the National Statistical Office's provisional reading of the headline inflation shows the consumer price index rose by 5.55% year on year. I've done so many editorials related to Indian economy, especially inflation. Whenever we come across economy related editorial, do remember we come across phrases like year on year, month on month, month on month. You have to recollect those. A lengthy sentence, but what does it say? Increase, obviously. While the National Statistical Office's provisional reading of headline inflation shows the consumer price index rose by 5.55% year on year to a 3 month high from October's 4.87%. Food price gains measured by the Consumer Food Price Index accelerated by a steep 209 basis points to 8.7% last month. A lengthy sentence, it all talks about the rise, rise, rise. Here you have to recollect the two important verbs rise, rose, risen, irregular verb, intransitive verb. Raise, erased, erased, regular verb, transitive verb. Already some students have written, I appreciate. It talks about the rise, almost all the sentences, but each sentence talks about a particular uh, product, either vegetable, because it is related to food prices. Here, what does it? And vegetables, constituents of the food and beverages subgroup that logged 10.3% and 17.7% inflation, respectively. Something went wrong here. I'm sorry about that. Constituents of the food and beverages subgroup that logged 10.3% and 7.7% inflation, respectively. Cereals that account for almost one tenth of the CPI and logged double digit inflation for a high 15th straight month also saw a month on month. As I said, we come across phrases like year on year, month on month, acceleration. In inflation with rice, wheat, and the core cereal of jowar, a rural hinterland staple, all registering palpable sequential price gains. A very lengthy sentence, and from here to here, but it all, as I said, it talks about the increase specific to a particular products, agri products. It talks about rice, wheat, coarse cereal of jowar. And there are three important words over here. First one, hinterland. Hinterland means what? The remote areas of a country away from the coast or the banks of major rivers. And the next one, staple. Generally, we use a combination staple food. Staple food means what? used by a lot of people in a particular region, a main product or part of something, and all registering palpable sequential price gains. Palpable, I'm sorry. Palpable means what? Tangible, of a feeling or atmosphere so intense as to seem almost tangible. Tangible means you can perceive, you can feel. Again, you have to recollect two words over here. One is concrete. Concrete means something you can see or touch. Then we use the word tangible. And what is opposite? Intangible means abstract. You cannot see or touch. Yes, that is true. Please ask at the fag end of the session, Pandu. Only then such a lengthy comment. I cannot go off the track. I will see later. While price gains in the perishable tomato swing, swang, swung, that's an important irregular verb. And now it talks about tomato. And perishable part of speech adjective, liable, liable to spoil or decay. Here it has to be, L is missing. Liable to spoil or decay. To get spoiled within no time or to decay within no time, then we say, usually while exporting, we put the label perishable products. Marine products are perishable, vegetables are perishable. While price gains in the perishable tomatoes swung from 2 straight months of sizable deflation, opposite of inflation, deflation, to a more than 11% year on year rate of inflation last month, the extent of increase could be truly gauged. You got to be careful with pronunciation. Gauged from the fact that prices surged a steep 41% from the preceding month's levels, as per data aggregated on the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy's website. A lengthy sentence, but it talks about a particular product, agri product. What is that? Tomato, which is perishable. And gauge, an important word. What does it mean? To make a judgment about someone or something or their feelings. You try to assess or judge someone's feelings or emotions, and then we use gauge. That is an important word, and people mispronounce usually. See, here there's nothing to explain as such. This is based on economy, and you need some sort of background, but all the sentences are related to the either increase or decrease, either inflation or deflation, and based on what is the source. It's every sentence is about the same thing, more or less. And where do you find? Monitoring Indian Economy's website. And the key masala essentials of ginger and garlic registered more than 100% rates of inflation for the seventh and third months, respectively. From the TOP or tomato, onion, and potato, triumvirate is an important word we have got for the first time. Triumvirate means what? Tri means a three, a group of three. So triumvirate means a group of three. What are the three? Tomato, onion, and potato. Of India's most widely consumed vegetables, onion prices remain the biggest source of concern as year on year inflation ballooned, means increased to 86% from October's 42% pace, and the sequential pace is swelled to 48%. Pace means the speed, swelled to 48%. With the reports that inclement weather, an important word, inclement weather means what? It goes with weather, obviously, unpleasantly cold or wet, incessant rains, inclement weather. You have to recollect all these related words. Inclement weather and depleting groundwater. Depleting also an important word. To go down in number or quality or standards. Generally, it goes with depleting numbers, depleting quality, depleting standards. Means use up is one meaning, but generally diminish in number or quantity. Balloon means to increase, snowball. That's very good, Suresh. Two, depleting groundwater are likely to cause a near 25% shortfall in onion output during the key Rabi season. It is not onion, onion. The outlook for prices of the nutrient dense bulb moderating in the near future appears bleak. I use this word bleak. Generally, if you don't work hard at this stage, what happens? The future may become bleak. Bleak means not cheerful, gloomy. Gloomy means not cheerful. Bleak future is one combination you have to know. The government's move to impose a ban on its exports notwithstanding. An important word from grammar point of view, notwithstanding can be a preposition, can be an adverb. What does it mean? Despite the fact or something mentioned, despite the despite the fact or thing mentioned. Only potato prices which continue to remain in deflationary territory, opposite of inflation, offered some respite because potato prices did not go up, not part of the inflation trend, but on the other hand, on the other side, means deflationary territory or zone, it offered some respite. Respite, again, we have got many a time an important word, a short period of rest or relief from something difficult or unpleasant. Imagine it has been raining for the last 3 or 4 days, heavy rains, and not able to step out. But for some time, it eases off. There's no rain. Then we say we got a respite from torrential rains, or we got respite from heavy rains, heavy downpour. Pulses and sugar. Now, another product. Pulses and sugar are other areas of concern, with the first witnessing more than 20% inflation and the sweetener also experiencing an uptick. Uptick also we got many a time. Uptick means what? Slight improvement. Already I've given the meaning. Slight increase or subtle increase in the pace of price gains to 6.55%, with sugar production also expected to take a hit due to lower rainfall. The number of supply related challenges policymakers face to rein in price gains is rising. Challenges are rising. Challenges related to what? Rein in price gains. Rain has many meanings. One meaning, when you take a horse, you want to control the horse. How do you control a horse? You use leather straps. There it is a noun, it is used, it goes with horses. But rein, one meaning, to allow something to happen freely. Opposite meaning in this context, to control something very carefully, rein in. And one more meaning, power and control of a business or other activity. The reins have been passed on to someone else. It talks about controlling the price gains, whatever. With the RBI having opted to refrain we have got so many times. What does it mean? Control, again, keep away, stay away. While the RBI having opted to refrain from raising rates for now, raising rates, that means RBI is going to raise the rates. Here it is a transitive verb, object is rates. The onus is squarely on the government to help temper inflation. Onus, we have got many a time. Part of speech noun. What does it mean? Responsibility or duty. The onus is on someone means the responsibility is on someone. Is squarely, that's also an important expression, completely on the government to help temper inflation. Temper has many meanings. One meaning, the mood, disposition, and a bad temper, one combination. Temper also means to control. In this context, it means control. Temper inflation, control, moderate, modify inflation. And causative verb, you got to be careful. Help, active voice, you should not use a preposition to. You can use in passive voice. Help temper inflation. Here, temper is a verb, mind you. Or risk suffering and erosion in broader consumption and economic growth. Main idea is being reiterated. At the beginning of the editorial, you see what is the risk of inflation related to food prices in impact, what is the risk or what is the impact. It makes an impact on consumption on the one hand and growth on the other hand. Broader consumption and economic growth, obviously we are talking about economic growth. Or risk suffering and erosion. Erosion, one meaning, usually it goes with soil erosion, the top layer being removed. But another meaning, the fact of a good quality or situation being gradually lost or destroyed. We also use this word with confidence. His confidence got eroded. And sometimes what happens, the confidence touches the bottom. Then we say rock bottom. His confidence got eroded and finally it touched a rock bottom. That is very dangerous. You should not allow your confidence to touch the rock bottom. That's all about today's editorial. Lack of time, I could not highlight a grammar part, and the last slide also I could not bring. Hope you can understand. You will understand. But here we have questions based on comprehension skill. Read the first one and try to answer two or three questions based on data, one or two based on comprehension. What was the year-on-year increase in consumer price index according to the National Statistical Office's provisional reading in November? So, what is that year-on-year increase in consumer price index (CPI)? Thank you very much, Manasa. I appreciate your response. Very good. It is 5.55%. Answer is B. Wonderful. Which subgroup experienced a significant acceleration in food price gains, contributing to the surge, sudden forward movement, sudden increase in headline retail inflation? You have to identify the, is it clothing and apparel? No. Electronics and appliances? No. Housing and utilities? No. Editorial is all about food and beverages. So obviously answer is a C. Should not be that difficult to answer. What specific vegetables contributed to the upsurge? Again, increase in food prices, registering 17.7% inflation in November. Spinach and kale, no. Potatoes and carrots, no. Onions and tomatoes, answer is cabbage and cauliflower, no. Yes, winner one, food and beverages. Okay. Go to question number three. Three is also C. Oh, you have answered. Very good. Which vegetable witnessed a significant year-on-year increase in inflation, surging almost 15 percentage points in November? Which one is that? A particular vegetable witnessed a significant year-on-year increase in inflation. It is not cabbage, it is not carrots, it is not spinach. What is the answer? Answer is C. Tomatoes. That is the answer. Answer. Please mention the question number. That is very important. Very good. According to the editorial, why is the government's move to impose a ban on onion exports not sufficient to address concerns? Now, notwithstanding, in the editorial, there's one sentence. Notwithstanding the ban on onion exports. Now, the editorial, we have to find out what could be the reason. The ban is expected to increase domestic consumption. Inclement weather and depleting groundwater are causing a shortfall in onion output. There is an oversupply of onions in the global market. Onion exports have already been banned in the past. No, answer is inclement weather and depleting groundwater are causing a shortfall in onion output. Answer is B. Very good. I appreciate you guys. You have got all correct. That's wonderful. Though you haven't got enough time, a few seconds perhaps, that is highly appreciable. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me till the back end of the session and have a nice day, a nice weekend. But before that, I think those who join SBI Clerk in the evening, 6 p.m., I'll see you guys that time with SBI Clerk Mock 8 in 20 important questions. Thank you very much. And do remember to subscribe and share.